Selfishness by nature, explored from a spiritual view, is a concept based on the belief that most life forms, humans included, are inherently selfish. However, if this is indeed the case, I feel it might have been instilled primarily as a survival tactic by nature. Many studies have shown that in some animals, but typically in humans, selfishness flows over into the sharing of other people and situations as well. In simple terms, what this means is that some people don't like sharing certain friends with acquaintances who are not in their immediate circle. Some people might become jealous over an outsider connecting with a long-term friend on the same level they are connected with this person. This is another example of humans displaying selfishness by wanting to keep things for themselves, being better, or to be the first. Humans aren't the only creatures to display this nature. Most of us are familiar with the struggles of the sperm cell. It's evident on how they swim vigorously through the female's fallopian tube with extreme determination to be the first to connect with the fertile eggs. Keep in mind, there are millions of sperm cells struggling for the same goal. They are only doing what has been instilled in them by nature. That is to make sure the strongest sperm connects with one fertile egg to create the best situation to ensure a strong, healthy fetus. This is to create a strong, healthy baby to assure a strong, healthy, responsible adult who will contribute to the survival of the human race. That one successful sperm cell doesn't feel guilt for being the fastest and beating out the other cells. Why? Because it is doing what nature has created it to do. It doesn't need to get an Academy Award or a gold medal. On a much deeper level, the sperm understands that this is not about him. It's about the bigger picture of keeping the race going. The sperm isn't aware that many things take place even before it's in the position to go for the goal. Before the sperm is released, it is dormant in the male testicles, then eventually awakened by sexual arousal, finally being released through ejaculation. Now let's put this scenario into perspective. Would you say this tiny sperm is being overly selfish by striving to be the first one to reach the goal? Looking at it from that perspective, you would probably say no. Ultimately, it shows that one healthy sperm swam faster and steadier than the others. I didn't mean to go off on a sperm tangent, but I wanted to use an analogy showing a very relevant point. And the point is that even our smallest life forms are instilled with certain traits by nature to ensure survival of life on the planet. Self-preservation is the bottom line. This might come across as ego. I feel ego can be viewed as an interesting thing. It was instilled by nature as a means of letting us know that we are important, not only in society, but in the overall scheme of life. Like anything else in life, if the ego is blown out of proportion, this can be a destructive thing. It can lead to someone believing he or she is better than others. This can cause a problem because now real selfishness comes into play. Egotistical is the word that simply explains an overblown ego. There has to be a balance. as with everything in life. As I explain in details in another book I've written called Balance is the Key to Life. The definition of ego is this: sense of self, self-worth, self-esteem, opinion of self. Too much focus on these things can disrupt the flow of nature. With humans, this happens when the ego turns inward and focuses too much on self as opposed to doing things in life for the betterment of the human race. This only creates unnecessary problems. If you acquire millions of dollars in life, it should be shared to create opportunities for many others. Running that mile faster than anyone else should be to demonstrate the potential of the human body to others, not for personal gratification only. This ability should be displayed simply to let others know they can achieve the same things in life if they are willing to work hard for it. The same goes for writing that beautiful piece of music. It should be written to share with the world the true beauty and healing power of creativity. Not just to meet certain people, get more money, to buy another home, purchase another car, or to eat at fancy restaurants. Here's another example. The gifted actor who loves to act should be paid, but his primary concern should not be how many millions can I make on my next play or movie. He should accept the part based on his confidence, knowing that he will give his best performance while displaying his finest interpretation of the storyline. The primary objective should be to convey the message clearly to the audience in a way that's informative and entertaining at the same time. Let's take a look at professional competitive sports. Friendly competition is an effective way for humans to display and compare their abilities. It should never be this: I can run faster than you, I can shoot a basketball better than you, or I can hit a baseball further than you. The drive in that baseball player striving to keep his numbers high can be compared to the drive in the sperm trying to be the first to reach that fertile egg. The only difference is that the sperm has no personal agenda other than to bring a life form to fruition, which contributes to the overall scheme of life. Unfortunately, humans do have a different view. A professional baseball player makes a certain amount of money according to his high numbers. If his average decreases, his resources might be at risk. He perceives this as a threat to his survival, so he tries harder to stay in that number one position. His focus is now on survival as opposed to enjoying the game. Now he's in survival mode and a bit more aggressive. This might translate as ego-driven. The more I explore this concept, the more I see there is a spiritual undertone here. Wanting to be number one, to finish first, making more money than others. The sports star is a perfect example. Concerned about not having enough for survival. Yet, he's making 10 times more than the average person. Selfish? Well, earlier I used the sperm analogy and then the human analogy to expound on my point. So now let's get back to one more analogy, the animal kingdom. Things aren't much different in the animal kingdom. For instance, when animals battle to become the leader of the pack, this is not just a fluke. It goes deeper. This is to keep the best genes flowing through the pack, the herd or the pride. Male elk, wolves, and lions all possess a strong drive to lead the pack. From a human point of view, this strong drive can easily be equated as a form of selfishness related to ego. Again, wanting to be the best, the first, or number one. Everything in life has a spiritual foundation. I believe nature instilled some semblance of ego in every life form to keep that particular species going. It translates in life as a means of survival by knowing on the deepest level of existence that we individually make a difference in nature by giving our best. Not just for self, but for the overall survival of life. The lion knows instinctively, in order to keep the species going, he needs to show strength and power. Not only does his strength help to maintain order amongst the pride, but it also shows the younger males that they can achieve this position as well. I'm not quite sure if humans realize that resources can and does make a huge difference in the overall productivity of life when shared with others. I have one question. If animals know this instinctively, why does it seem most humans don't quite get it yet, instinctively or intellectually? In closing, I'd like to say, I believe most life forms are selfish by nature, but this is a good thing when it is used the way nature intended for it to be used. Most things make sense when seen from a spiritual view, ego included. It is important that we use this tool for what it was designed to do, advance life. Thanks for listening.